On Sunday, January 19, 2025, at precisely 8:30 a.m. local time, 6:30 Greenwich Mean Time, a historic ceasefire between Israel and Hamas was implemented, bringing a temporary halt to a brutal 15-month-long conflict in the Gaza Strip. This truce, orchestrated through intensive mediation efforts by Qatar, Egypt, and the United States, marks a pivotal moment in a region plagued by enduring hostilities. The lead-up to the ceasefire. Negotiations for the ceasefire were marred by profound mistrust and frequent escalations. The involvement of international mediators was crucial in bridging the gap between the parties. Qatar and Egypt, leveraging their geopolitical influence and proximity to the conflict, worked tirelessly to draft terms that addressed immediate humanitarian needs while laying the groundwork for more comprehensive peace discussions. The United States provided diplomatic heft, ensuring both sides committed to the agreement despite their reservations. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the ceasefire after securing approval from his security cabinet, emphasizing that it was a temporary measure contingent on Hamas adherence to the terms. Similarly, Hamas leadership expressed cautious optimism, stating that the agreement reflected a partial acknowledgement of Palestinian grievances. Terms of the ceasefire. The ceasefire is structured into 3 phases, each designed to address immediate and long-term concerns. Phase 1, 6 weeks. Hostage release. Hamas is committed to releasing 33 of the 98 remaining hostages, prioritizing vulnerable groups such as infants, children, women, and elderly men over 50 years old. In reciprocation, Israel will release approximately 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, including women and minors. Military de-escalation. Israel has agreed to a partial withdrawal of its forces from Gaza, focusing on easing the movement of displaced Palestinians returning to their homes. Humanitarian aid. Immediate corridors for humanitarian aid have been established to address the dire conditions in Gaza. Essential supplies such as food, medical aid, and water are already being distributed under international supervision. Phase 2. The second phase, set to begin after 6 weeks, will concentrate on the reconstruction of Gaza's decimated infrastructure. International donors, including the European Union and the Gulf Cooperation Council, have pledged billions in aid to rebuild schools, hospitals, and residential areas. Ensuring transparency and accountability in the allocation of these funds remains a top priority. Phase 3. The final phase involves addressing the root causes of the conflict through direct negotiations. Topics such as border control, the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces, and the release of remaining hostages are on the agenda. Mediators hope this phase will create a framework for a more enduring resolution. Reactions from the ground. The announcement of the ceasefire was met with a mixture of relief and skepticism. In Gaza, civilians cautiously returned to assess the damage to their homes and neighborhoods, their resilience tempered by the uncertainty of the ceasefire's longevity. In Israel, families of hostages and prisoners expressed a bittersweet sentiment, hopeful for their loved ones' release but wary of renewed violence. Internationally, the ceasefire has been lauded as a significant diplomatic achievement. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres described it as a critical step toward alleviating human suffering and fostering a path to peace. However, he also warned that the truce's fragility underscored the need for sustained international engagement. Challenges ahead. Despite the promising start, numerous challenges threaten the ceasefire's stability. Mistrust between the parties remains high, and spoilers on both sides could undermine the agreement. The reconstruction of Gaza presents logistical and political hurdles, as does the coordination of prisoner exchanges. Additionally, the broader geopolitical dynamics of the region, including tensions in the West Bank and external influences from other nations, add layers of complexity to the peace process. Conclusion. The ceasefire agreement of January 19, 2025, represents a fragile but critical step toward resolving one of the world's most protracted conflicts. While the path ahead is fraught with challenges, the involvement of international mediators and the commitment of both parties to the initial terms provide a glimmer of hope. As the first phase unfolds, the world watches closely, hopeful that this truce can evolve into lasting peace.